You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of GHS TV's award-winning talk show, Crosstalk. I'm your host, Kaitlyn Poindexter. Each week in this time slot, we take a look at different issues, personalities, and events that affect you and our community. On average, each year, 7,000 children around the world are without a family. Adoption agencies seek to assist displaced children and aid them in finding a devoted and loving family to help them grow. This week, we are taking a look at local organizations whose mission it is to find forever homes for Mid-South children, and we are exploring the long-term benefits adoption has for them. My first guest today is Kelly Sims, pregnancy counselor at Bethany Christian Services. Ms. Sims, thank you for coming on our show today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Can you explain what Bethany Christian Services is and what your goals are?
Yes, ma'am. So Bethany Christian Services is a nonprofit social service organization located in the Mid-South. We're also in 30 other states across the U.S. and international. Here at the branch here in Memphis, Tennessee, we do domestic adoptions, international adoptions, pregnancy counseling, and we also have some other programs that Katie will talk about later.
As a pregnancy counselor, what do you do?
As a pregnancy counselor at Bethany, I meet with expectant parents or parents who have recently delivered and talk them through their options, just inform them of all their options that they have available to them. And they get to make the decision. Ultimately, it's just my job is to just inform them of all the options that there are.
How do you prepare for each incoming client?
Every client that I work with is different. We have no two cases that are alike. I enjoy being a pregnancy counselor and making sure that I hear what my client is saying thoroughly and helping them get what they want, the outcome that they want.
Now, you do offer some financial assistance to those who need it.
Yes, we do offer some financial assistance. There are kind of legal limitations as to what we can offer, but there are some financial assistance that we can provide during adoptions.
How often do your clients choose adoption over keeping the child?
Just for example, last year I worked with 36 clients and 11 of them decided to make an adoption plan. So I work with parents who oftentimes do decide to parent, and when that happens, we love to be able to have other resources in the community that we connect them with so that they're on a good path to be able to parent.
I can imagine just how difficult that decision can have on someone. How do you help your clients do this decision?
Yes, it can be very difficult for them to make a decision, and like I always tell my clients, they know their life better than I'll ever be able to know or understand their life, so it's ultimately up to them. But oftentimes I will connect them to other birth moms, and a birth mom is someone who has legally placed a child for adoption, and if somebody is struggling with adoption or parenting, it is good to have somebody else to talk to be able to talk through what that might look like for them.
Let's talk about fostering in the adoption process. Once a birth mother chooses the adoption path, what happens?
Once a birth mother chooses, or an expectant parent that I'm working with chooses to make an adoption plan, they are able to select the family that they would like to place their child with, and then they are also able to meet with them. And then it just depends on the client if they want the adoptive family to be present at the birth or to wait until after the baby is born before they get to meet them. There's many different situations.
How do you make sure a child is placed in a loving home?
At Bethany, we have very high standards for our home study process, so it takes on average about 4 months to prepare to become a waiting family at our agency, and they go through thorough background checks and screenings and interviews and references to make sure that we have the best families for these babies.
How would you say women benefit from your counseling program?
At Bethany, we give women all the options, and there's no pressure at Bethany. It's completely up to them. It's their choice, and we just want them to know that, whether you come to us if you're early on in your pregnancy, halfway through your pregnancy, or even after you delivered, we're going to talk you through all the options and then be able to connect you, with resources or be able to work with you if you're making an adoption plan So we want to make sure that they all get the best care possible.
In what ways can people become involved?
At Bethany, we do look for volunteers for our annual banquet. We also have some volunteer opportunities as far as just coming to our office and assisting with office duties.
Can you talk about your upcoming banquet?
Yes, I would love to share about our banquet. Our banquet is going to be on Thursday, October 24th. This year it's at the Children's Museum. So we're actually making it more family friendly this year. If anybody's interested in coming, they can get online and register at bethany.org/Memphis/events or contact Bethany Justice, our office administrator, at 901-818-9996. But at our banquet this year, they'll be running the carousel. We'll have a silent auction, and just dinner will be provided as well, just to raise funds for our organization so we can continue to work with families in the community.
The funds you raise at the banquet, what areas of Bethany Christian Services do they go towards?
They go towards all areas. At Bethany, we are a nonprofit, so part of them do go, I use them for like birth parent expenses when a mother needs housing or assistance with transportation or food or clothing. There's many different ways that the funds are used.
What is your favorite part about being a pregnancy counselor?
I think that's a very difficult question. I love empowering women to make the choice, giving them all the options and watching them make a plan that is best for them.
In what ways do you help parents decide whether to do adoption or not?
We do a lot of pros and cons. We talk through what the future might look like and just kind of talk through a full circle scenario, because adoption is a permanent decision, and I want to make sure that they know and understand. And also with adoption, there's several different kinds of adoption, so we go through that as well. And then some of them choose different levels of adoption, and they're able to have openness in that adoption if they want to.
Does Bethany Christian Services have any partners with any other organizations?
We work with several organizations in the Mid-South area, yes ma'am.
How does their support affect Bethany Christian Services?
When we work with other organizations, oftentimes we have moms that are referred to us for me to work with them, meet with them, and counsel them. And then we refer moms back to them, if they decide to parent or if there's housing resource or clothing need or something like that that's specific. We have certain organizations that we work with in the community.
Why do mothers considering adoption, why should they go to Bethany Christian Services?
At Bethany, I'm a big advocate for my moms. I always want to make sure that their voice is heard, and I just love to be a part of their journey and really just, stand for bringing families together. But also if a mother decides to parent, that's 100% okay, and I want them to know that, this is their choice.
How do you make mothers comfortable?
At Bethany, making mothers comfortable can look many different ways. So, we just offer very intimate counseling sessions. When you come to our office, everything is very private. We like to maintain confidentiality, and we want to make sure that they get the best care possible.
Well, Ms. Sims, this has been very interesting. Thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you.
For more information about Bethany Christian Services, visit their website, bethany.org. Now we have to take a short break, but when we return, we will talk with an organization lending support for families in crisis.
On the 21st day of the month of September, in an early year of a decade not too long before our own, the human race suddenly encountered a deadly threat to its very existence. Witness the danger come to life when you see Little Shop of Horrors at the Poplar Pike Playhouse. Running October 31st through November 9th, get your tickets online at ppp.org or by calling 755-7775. Will you live to tell the tale? Feed me.
We see the potential in every single student.
That sounds like a confession to me.
I love watching these kids as they start as freshmen in high school and watching them mature and grow.
At last, my right arm is complete again!
The theater program at GHS, it's something special.
Is very intensive, it's very interactive.
When a student starts here their freshman year, they start with Introduction to Theater. And after that year, they have a choice to either go into acting or technical theater. And then after that, they join our production workshop class. It's the class that is completely run by students.
The students do mostly everything. We build the sets, we do lighting, we make the costumes, we do the shows.
It's very fun. I mean, everybody's very supportive of each other.
Now we're all in this together.
It's taught me so much about how to act and how to have a stage presence.
Not only are we teaching the students the skills that they need to be a great performer or a great stage manager or a wonderful lighting designer, we're teaching them skills that they're going to be able to apply to whatever they do in their life.
You guys are fabulous!
This department not only makes wonderful theater, but more importantly, this department makes wonderful people.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. Safe Families for Children is a nonprofit organization that provides hope and support to families in our local communities. Here to speak with us about helping families in crisis is Katie Dunlap, Program Manager at Safe Families. Ms. Dunlap, thank you for coming on our show today.
Thank you for having me.
Your organization really does everything it can to keep families together. Can you tell us a bit more about Safe Families for Children?
Yes, we have a local chapter here, but we are an organization that spans across the United States and even internationally. And we work with families who are going through a crisis situation, who want to stay together but need extra support. And we just try to provide wraparound support for that family to strengthen the family so they can be together.
Can you walk us through the Safe Families process?
Yes, yes. So if we have a family that comes and approaches us about needing help, we just try to meet them where they are. And then we have a group of volunteers. We're a volunteer-driven organization. And so we have a group of volunteers that actually host the children in their home. And so I work to just partner those two families together. And the kids are hosted in that volunteer home until the crisis is resolved, and then they can be reunited with the parent.
The host families you just mentioned, how do you find them?
Well, we largely partner with local churches. We're a faith-based organization, and so that is really what drives what we do. And so we partner with local churches to recruit volunteers from the churches in the community.
Do they go through any screening processes?
Yes, they do. We don't just let anybody host. They have to go through an extensive screening process. It's not too difficult, but we do background checks and get letters of reference and do a home visit, and they do some training to make sure that they're as prepared as they can be to host.
Can you walk us through the training processes?
Yes, so initially when a family inquires about being a host family or any of our we have other volunteer positions as well, the initial training is done online, so it's very easy to just do whenever they can. And then we try to provide some ongoing training that's more in-person training throughout the year.
How long are children with a host family?
Well, that varies. Safe Families is designed to be a more short-term program, and so the average hosting is about 30 to 45 days, but we've had some hostings that have just been overnight, and then we've had some go longer when needed.
What type of contact does the child's host family have with the child's legal guardians?
Yes, so Safe Families is a very relationship-driven ministry, and so we really encourage those two families to connect and almost become like extended family as time goes on. The hope is that the relationship will continue even after the child or the children are back with the parent. So they're very encouraged to form a relationship with the parent.
Can the host family keep in contact with the child they've cared for after they're gone?
Yes, yeah, we love it when that happens. And it doesn't always happen. There's a lot of variables, and it largely depends on what the parent wants. But we've seen relationships that have continued for 3 and 4 years now since I've been with Safe Families, and it's very encouraging just to see that family in crisis, their support system, we call it a safety net, is stronger, and that they know that if they face another crisis, that they have someone that they can call and count on. So.
You have partnered with other organizations around Memphis, such as Baptist Children's Home and Kindred Partners.
Yes.
How does the support affect Safe Families?
Well, you know, we all work together because with Safe Families, we host children. That is the primary thing that we do. But the parents that come to us, they're facing all kinds of different situations. They have needs that we don't actually feel. And so we really work hard to partner with other organizations to get that parent as much help and assistance as we can while their kids are hosted. So those partnerships are very important to us and to those families.
The family coach seems to be integral here. What is their role?
Yes, so we really do. We create what we call a circle of support every time we do a hosting. So we have the host family, we have a family coach, and a family friend. Those are all different volunteer roles. And the family coach really works with that parent to help them meet whatever goals they're trying to accomplish while their kids are hosted so that they can be reunited. Almost like a mentor of sorts, and just to provide friendship and accountability to them as they work towards the goals that they set for themselves.
Who are the family friends?
So the family friends here, the way we do it here is that the family friend actually supports the host family. So hosting a child in your home, you know, it can be really fun, and it can also, you know, there's challenges that can come with hosting a child in your home. And so the family friend just makes sure that the host family has what they need, that they feel supported. If they need a babysitter or a box of diapers or a meal one night, if they're having a rough day, then that family friend can come and support them and make sure, you know, that they're doing okay during the hosting as well.
How did the children interact with the family friends?
I mean, the children, most of the time, they just kind of become like part of the family, and they kind of begin to see, you know, the host parents as like an aunt or uncle, and the kids in the home as maybe like their cousins or even brothers and sisters. And so they just interact. They, you know, really just kind of become a part of that family for that time, and just do all the things that the family does. And so they get to know that community as well, that the family is part of.
How does Safe Families for Children impact the Memphis community?
Well, it strengthens our community. You know, we need families that are strong for our city to be successful. We need parents who feel empowered, who have the tools that they need to parent well, to raise kids that are going to grow up to, you know, build into our community. And so we just really work to create stronger families because we believe that there's a direct correlation between strong families and a strong community.
As you mentioned earlier, more than 25,000 volunteers across the country help your cause. How can people watching get involved if they aren't already?
Yeah, they can call our office. They can look on the Safe Families website, and they can get the contact information to our local office. I'm always happy to talk to people who are interested in volunteering, and we have many ways for people to be involved. They don't have to just host kids if that feels like something that's not feasible for their family. So they can go to safe-families.org and look, find the Memphis chapter, and that's the best way to reach us.
What are your responsibilities as program manager?
Well, at our office, we all just pitch in and help however needed, but really I provide oversight to the program. One thing that I do is church engagement so that we can continue to grow our volunteer base. And then also I work just to make sure that people in the community know that we're here. So with, you know, networking with other community partners, that's and then I oversee, we have another staff member who does a lot of the intake and family coach supervision, and so we work very closely together.
Well, Ms. Dunlap, thank you again for coming on our show.
Thank you for having me.
If you or a family is in need of help, please contact safe-families.org. When we come back, we're going to talk with a woman who will share her adoption story.
On the 21st day of the month of September, in an early year of a decade not too long before our own, the human race suddenly encountered a deadly threat to its very existence. Witness the danger come to life when you see Little Shop of Horrors at the Poplar Pike Playhouse. Running October 31st through November 9th, get your tickets online at ppp.org or by calling 755-7775. Will you live to tell the tale? Feed me.
It's very fun to be in band, trust me. It's so much fun.
When I was an 8th grader and I saw them march and I was like, wow, I need to be a part of this.
Our main performing group is the varsity band. That encompasses our marching band and our varsity concert band. We also have the jazz ensemble.
It's unique, so we're really lucky to have that.
I'm very methodical about teaching. I try to stay up to date because I want my students to have the best information that I can pass along to them.
He's excellent. He commands a sort of drive that we didn't exactly have.
I lead the class, but I also believe in the students self-assessing their work.
The leadership is led by the students. We lead most of the practices. It's basically just student-led.
And I think it's important for them to take that kind of ownership.
If you want to be a musician, you gain extremely important music skills, music techniques.
1, 2, 3.
There's so many opportunities for fellowship, and band is a family. And you develop that small community where you support each other, not only musically, but in many ways.
Really, without the band, the football games would be lame. Without the band, you wouldn't really have the pep rallies. The band is like a good foundation for the school spirit. If you want to join band, just do it.
I think band was the best part of my high school career.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. I'm Kaitlyn Poindexter. Adoption benefits children by giving them a loving family and home to call their own. Not only does it impact the children, but the family who goes through the adoption process as well. Here today to speak on her experience is Jean Wilkins. Ms. Wilkins, thank you very much for coming with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You are, in fact, adopted. You are also a birth mother and a board member at Bethany Christian Services, so you wear many hats, so to speak. Can you tell us your adoption story?
Well, you're right. I do wear many hats, but first of all, like you asked, I was adopted. I came to America when I was 6 years old. I was adopted from the Philippines, and have a lot of memories because, you know, I wasn't adopted as an infant. I was adopted, you know, as a 6-year-old. So, but that's kind of how my adoption story started.
How did your family impact you growing up?
Well, I was adopted by an American family, and my dad is a Presbyterian minister. My mom was a teacher, and they basically, you know, brought me in a home, you know, with Christian values, and, you know, mom being an educator, you know, made sure that I had a good education, so, yes.
Some people want to know who their birth parents are, some don't. Did you ever get a chance to meet them?
You know, I think for everybody, that's, you know, some people want to know and some people don't want to know. In my situation, I have not met my birth mother. I keep thinking, you know, maybe one day that's something that I'd like to do, but, you know, I'm kind of content right now, you know, not knowing, because, you know, my parents are my parents, who they are now. But when I placed, you know, my child for adoption, I made sure that it was an open adoption so that that way, you know, that child would never not ever know who I was.
How did being adopted benefit you?
Oh my gosh, it's benefited me in so many ways. First of all, I wouldn't be here. You know, I never ever thought that, you know, the decisions that were made for me before me would lead me to where I am today. So it's benefited me in many ways.
What would you say to somebody who is considering adoption?
Oh gosh. First of all, I'd give them a big hug because, you know, now the question is adopting a child or placing a child. You know, me as a birth mother, there's a lot of overwhelming emotions and feelings that a birth mom will experience. I definitely will tell them to reach out. There are a lot of, you know, agencies in the community that will help you, you know, educate you so that you can make the right decision for you. And for the past 7 years, I've led a small birth mothers group for support, and I definitely, you know, invite them and welcome them to come so that that way they could be around other birth mothers for, you know, to see that they've been okay after the decision that they made to place.
How did you get connected with Bethany Christian Services?
Well, it all started when I was faced with the decision to, you know, consider adoption. Originally, actually, I found out that I was expecting my 3rd child, and it wasn't something that I had planned. And being a single mom, it really worried me. And honestly, my first thought was abortion. So I reached out to my parents to ask them to help me, to guide me. And in a conversation with my parents on the telephone, my mom whispered in the background, adoption. Have you thought about adoption? And it was just like a huge stone lifted off my heart to say, oh my gosh, that is the answer. So my mom suggested, to look, online, but she mentioned Bethany Christian Services because my parents are from Knoxville, so they have Bethany Christian Services there in Knoxville. So my mom said, surely they're going to have one in Memphis. So that's what I did. I called and reached out to them, and the rest is history.
As I mentioned, you are a board member with Bethany Christian Services. What does it feel like to work towards something you are directly connected to?
Oh gosh. Well, I was honored to be asked to become a board member. I never imagined that, 7 years ago when I made that decision to place, that I would be in that position to be on the board. Part of being on the board, it has allowed me to understand exactly what goes on behind the scenes and all the things that are involved in when, adoption and, the agency itself. So it's very unique because on the other side, when I was going through Bethany as a, birth mom, I, was scared. And now I know as a board member that we can help these birth mothers that were like me to know that there's support and love for them.
Currently, there are 140 million kids around the world who don't have a home. In your opinion, what could be done to alleviate this number?
Oh gosh, that's really sad. But I think that society needs to educate themselves a lot more about adoption. I feel like, years ago when, people would talk about adoption or say that they were adopted or, going to adopt, it was more of a hush-hush thing, But now adoption is wonderful. I mean, it just, every child deserves a home with love. And if we would allow people to know how easy it was to adopt or how that is the solution, then there would be, very less children, homeless without parents.
I feel so moved to have been able to talk with you today. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you so much.
I hope you have learned of the impact Bethany Christian Services and Safe Families for Children have had on families in need or who are looking to adopt. For more information on our programming, please check us out on the web at GHS-TV.org, where we are streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Kaitlyn Poindexter. From all of us at GHS-TV, thank you for watching Crosstalk, and I hope to see you again.